What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been spending the last week glued to my monitor, ignoring my responsibilities and drinking way too much caffeine. Why? Because I needed to know if Operation Terra is actually the next big sci-fi epic, or it's just another piece of space junk floating around on Steam. If you haven't heard, Operation Terra is a science fiction first-person shooter mixed with heavy RPG elements, and it's even got a roguelike cherry on top that developers love to add these days. It's from the teams over at Yotta, Yobi, and Diamond Tao. On paper, it sounds like a dream game. Fast guns, yeah. Exponential level up systems, yeah. Fighting an infinite army of angry toasters, absolute yes. But did they stick the landing? Grab your gear. We're going to Terra. Let's talk about it.
Once I hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back. No control on the legend, give me space like that. Hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back.
So what's the story here? You're mankind's last hope? Familiar, right? We have wrecked our old Earth, surprising I know, and we found a potential new home called Terra. The problem is, Terra is already occupied. Not by little green men, by a massive, relentless army of droids, tanks, and automated defenses that really do not want us setting up a base there. Your job is to drop onto the planet, fight through procedural generated maps, and clear the way for resettlement. The story is honestly just... it's there. It serves its purpose to give you an excuse to shoot things. It's not going to win any writing awards, but it gets the job done. But the vibe of this game is where it tries to pull you in. It's a mix of clean, futuristic aesthetic in your base with a genuinely strange, almost 90-ish, kind of like Doom vibes. When you're, so sometimes it works beautifully. Sometimes it feels like my GPU's having a mild fever dream. But you have to give it credit for trying something unique. Let's get into the meat of it, the combat. If shooting isn't good, a game like this dies immediately. Fortunately, Operation Terra's combat is surprisingly smooth, even though it took me a little bit to get the sensitivity right. It's an FPS at its core, the guns feel responsive, the explosions are punchy, and the enemy variety keeps you on your toes. There are about 30 unique enemy types, and you really feel the difference between dodging tiny little swarm drones and having an all-out war with massive walking tanks. The twist is the RPG layering. You aren't just shooting, you're leveling up exponential stats. So every time you level, you get skill points. And the further you go, the more ridiculous it gets. You also have powers, 8 of them in total. I have found a favorite early on that lets me slow down time in a small bubble, which is pretty much essential when the room is filled with 50 robots trying to turn you into a Swiss cheese. The roguelike element means that when you're on a mission, the maps are randomized. If you die, you lose your mission progress. But the game is actually quite generous. It uses a permanent progression system. You loot credits during missions, and you spend those back at your base on permanent bonuses. Things like more health, better gun, or unlocking new parts on your base or better shops. This creates a really addictive loop. Drop, fight, loot, die, upgrade, repeats. They call it a near infinite gameplay, which is a bit of marketing fluff, but it definitely has that one more run potentially that keeps you up until like 3 a.m. I want to pause on the RPG depth for a second because it actually surprised me. You have biochips that you slot in to boost your basic stats, but then there's equipment upgrade system that doesn't just add to your stats, it multiplies them. If you love min-maxing numbers and seeing your damage go from puny 100 to 100,000, this game will give you that dopamine hit. Your base also acts as a permanent hub. By completing missions, you earn clearance to unlock new sections. This is where you find specialized shops to buy better gear or unlock major upgrades using mission points. It makes the time spent between runs feel valuable. You aren't just looking at menus, you're walking around your growing outpost, playing your next build with a genuine sense of accomplishment when you finally unlock that advanced weaponsmith after a brutal weekend of grinding. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows on Terra. We need to talk about the rough edges. First, the procedural generation. While it keeps things fresh for a while, after about 5 or 6 hours, you start to recognize the patterns. Probably less than that, honestly. Some of the psychedelic levels I mentioned earlier can be a bit of an eyesore. Neon greens and purples that make it actually hard to see the enemies you're supposed to be shooting. Second, the difficulty spikes. Because the game relies so heavily on exponential stat growth, if you haven't spent enough time grinding for upgrades, you'll hit a metaphorical brick wall. You'll go from feeling like a god in one mission to getting one-shotted in the next. It forces you to go back and farm lower level missions, which might turn off players who just want to push through the story. Lastly, the UI is busy. There's a lot of information on the screen at once. Health bars, cooldowns, XP bars, mini maps, and damage numbers. It can feel a bit cluttered until you get used to it. So what's the verdict? Operation Terra is a loud, fast, unashamedly crunchy RPG shooter. It knows exactly what it is. It's not trying to be a deep philosophical journey. It just wants you to blow up robots and watch your numbers go up. If you're a fan of games like Risk of Rain or Borderlands, but you want something a bit more futuristic, base building twist, this is a very easy recommendation, especially at the price point it's launching at. It's got a ton of heart, very addictive loop, and a depth to keep you busy for dozens of hours. I think there's a game I played that it was just like this. It was like this game mixed with Doom, and roguelike, Deadzon Rogue. Deadzon Rogue, and if Doom had a baby, this would probably be what it would be. It's not perfect. It's a bit janky in spots, and the grind is real. But the satisfaction is of finally clearing a sector that's been kicking your teeth in for a couple days. That's hard to beat. I'm giving Operation Terra a solid 6 out of 10. It's a blast, literally. Thank y'all for watching. If you played it, let me know in the comments what your favorite power is. I'm still convinced time bubble is the only way to go. I'm open to being proven wrong. But don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews, and I'll see you in the next one. As always, my name's Jose. Be kind. Love one another. Don't be a dick. See ya.